I've almost got my first driver's license. Prezzo, are you here? I almost got my G2. Sorry, I forget how it works. G1 is the paper license that basically doesn't allow you to do anything, right? G2 is when you're basically full licensed, and then G is the full license. That is correct. It's been a while. That's it? I've got none of that? I mean, you should get your G1, just because the G1 is like, that's easy. I think you have to get 80% on the paper test. I have no idea how hard the actual driving test is because I passed first try. And I'm not flexing it. But I had my G1. I took young drivers. And young drivers, you're on fucking blast, okay? You know, I can spot a fellow young drivers graduate every time I'm outside. You know why? The stop line for the road will be here. Young drivers, graduates always stop here, just in case the person behind them is going 10,000 miles an hour over the speed limit and their brake lines got cut. And then when you come close to behind them, they move up as you come in, which is like, you're not going to hit me, you're not going to hit me, you're not going to hit me. Wow, seems like a good idea, right? That's a great idea for defensive driving. Sure, maybe in like Aurelia or something like that, but in the big city is annoying as hell because it means that every time you come up to a traffic light, it's red. Red means don't go. So why the hell do I have to move up 10 feet every 3 seconds? It doesn't make sense. Nobody should be hitting the gas. Everybody should be in line in single file where they're supposed to be. But every 3 seconds, the car in front of me is moving up because the car in front of them is moving up because the car in front of them is moving up because there's a young driver's graduate up at the front who just kept 50 feet of extra runway just in case. Anyway, I finished my 12 lessons of young drivers or something like that. And then the last thing my instructor said to me before I took my driving test is, yeah, I don't really know. I give you about a 50-50 shot of passing the test. Passed that shit first try. Went to Korea for a year. Came home. Took the full driving test. Passed it first try. I'm flipping them both birds, librarian. That one's for you. Is driving age 16 in Canada? Yeah. I think you can get your G1 at 15. I can't remember. Your G1 doesn't really... when you get your G1, it's like a learner's permit, though. So you have to have a licensed driver in the car to drive yourself. I was told to pull over on a practice test. He said pulling over there was dangerous and failed me. Dude, I feel like the driving test is one of the only like legal standardized tests where they have trick questions. Like when I took my driver's test... the person administering the test was like, can you parallel park between these two cars? And I said, sir, that's a driveway. And they said, yes, I know. Go ahead and do it anyway. But I felt like I avoided the caltrops. I feel like if I was just like, okay, sure, they would have been like, oh, sorry, you failed. You blocked someone's driveway. Maybe not, but that's the way it felt at the time, at least. They'll fail you if you don't tell the instructor to put on their seatbelt. So that, I understand, like, you want to make sure that you've got good drivers, okay? Obviously, they're not doing their job because 50% of the cars you see on the road are driven by insane people. So the test is not fully working. There needs to be, like, there needs to be less arbitrary auto-fail conditions. Like, apparently in Ontario, it's like an auto-fail if the instructor feels like they have to slam on their brakes. Like, because in the driving instructor's car, usually there's brakes on the passenger side as well. That shit is stupid. Sometimes people will jaywalk or fall into the street or drive like an insane person. And you'll feel in danger because they're not doing their part. If you're driving unsafe and then the examiner is like, well, I have to stop you right here, that's one thing. But if you got a green light and then somebody like sprints out into the middle of the intersection and they have to slam on the brakes, that's not an auto fail. You should auto fail that guy. He should lose his walking license. Why wouldn't the driver brake? The driver was probably braking too, but in those situations you have like, 1/20th of a second in order to react. So, just because the examiner hit the brakes in an emergency situation doesn't mean the driver made a mistake. Just seems kind of unfair to me, honestly. In Japan, if you stop for a pedestrian, the pedestrian waves you through and then you go, you can get a ticket. That's too much. I mean, I get that, you know, what do they say? Like every model. This game looks really good, by the way. Sorry. I love how they're constantly just putting like a red translucent filter over the entire game at all times. Anyway, I'm gonna try not to, okay? I understand that all models are by their very nature false. Like they can't be perfect. That's why it's a model. Otherwise, it would just be called the way that it fucking is, I guess. But either way, there are some laws that just strike you as like being a little silly. Like we've talked about this before. I don't have any experience with this. But what I read about on r/Vancouver is that in British Columbia, if you are intoxicated and you go to sleep in your car, even if you sleep in the back seat with your keys in your pocket, you can be arrested for like operating a motor vehicle while intoxicated. The way that you get around that is that people fall asleep in their car, but before they go to sleep, they take their car keys and they throw the keys under their car, so that when they wake up in the morning, they just like crawl around on the wet concrete and then get their car keys from the floor. Like, does that seem like that law is doing what it's designed to do? Like, that's madness. No, but it's funny. It is funny. Just can't imagine like how upset you would be if your life got ruined because you got a DUI for sleeping in your car with your keys in your pocket. And then, like, you know, 50% of the people that you meet would be like, well, that's your fault. You're supposed to throw them under your car when you go to sleep. There's that video of a college girl getting a DUI while waiting for someone else to come pick her up in her car because it's cold outside. See, that's not the spirit of the law, okay? This is why, like, when we lived in an apartment building, this shit always pissed me off, is like the 5% of the population are sociopaths, and the other 95% bear the cost. But that's not the way it should be. In our old apartment building, we would always get these notices. An email blast for everybody. Hey, you have one new voicemail. Hey, this is the property manager. Just so you know, if your dog shits on the carpet, you should clean it up. Okay. Hey, it's getting really fucked up, pal. We keep having to clean dog shit off the carpet. Please don't let your... We never let our dog shit on the carpet. We don't even have a motherfucking dog. Signs in every elevator bay. Don't let your dog shit on the carpet, please, please. The 5% of people letting their dog shit on the carpet do not care. They don't know how to read, okay? What you got to do is petition a judge to let you use the security camera footage, and then you find the person who's letting their dog shit on the ground, and then you can, there's many creative ways you can now solve your problem, okay? What you don't do is just like, please, we're appealing to the kindness of everybody, to the consensus. I think we shouldn't let our dogs pee on the ground and poop on the ground. No, you run a fucking, you get a DNA assay of every pet that lives in the building, so that whenever any dog shit is found, you take it down to the fucking lab and put it in the centrifuge, figure out what dog it is, and then you do what you gotta do in order to deter it from happening in the future. Maybe you levy some kind of a lien on them. Maybe you give them some kind of fine. Maybe you pee on a dinner plate and then put it in the freezer, and then pull the dinner plate out of the freezer when it's frozen and slide the disc of pee under their front door. And then if they go, what the heck, somebody peed in my house, then you send everybody a voicemail that's like, hey, don't pee in this guy's house even though he let his dog poop on the carpet 25 times. Same thing, right? You know, if people aren't breaking down their cardboard before they put it in the shared cardboard dumpster, you don't need to say, hey, it'd be really nice if you broke your cardboard down. You just look at the shipping label, because there's no doubt if they're too lazy to break down the box, they're not ripping the shipping labels off. You grab the fucking cardboard, you take it up to their apartment, you throw it in front of their door, and you say, do it again. You're the property management company. You don't need to send everybody a voicemail or an email or print out some kind of clip art with like a dog giving a thumbs up. Hey, we're all in this together. The person who did the wrong thing should bear the costs for the wrong thing, and leave everybody else alone. They know. They're clicking on, oh, one new voicemail. I wonder what it is. Hey, honey, maybe we got the house. Brip, brip. Don't let dogs poop on the carpet in shared areas. Oh, whoa, I never thought of that. Sorry. So true. I get mass emails twice a week about how to properly dispose of my trash in my apartment building. Shit sucks. I guess what I'm trying to say is the laws of public decency have gone too far, and they protect the willfully malevolent. We need to peel back some of those privacy laws. Did you see the story about the dude in Texas who he lived in an apartment building and they broke into his house and threw all his shit out? And then he was like, "Why did you throw all my shit out?" And they were like, "Oh, we were supposed to evict your neighbor, but we got the apartment number wrong. Our bad." And then the next day they were like, "Oh, you're living here illegally anyway because your name isn't on the lease. Only your sister's name is on the lease, so you're illegally subletting. So we're actually going to evict you now, even though we already threw all your shit in the garbage." And he's like, "What the fuck?" It's got to be, I don't know the rules of Texas, okay, clearly, except for the rules of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. But the lawyer that's representing this guy is going to win him like $2.5 million, right? I feel like even in Texas, a judge is going to be like, "What are you doing there?" Then they said, "You're lucky we're only evicting you. When we went through your apartment, we found counterfeit money, and it turns out it was like Monopoly money from a board game that he plays with his kid." Like, that's one of those things that I don't wish that it happens to me. But at my most fucked up, that is what goes through my head. When I don't get my receipt from the grocery store and then I go into the pharmacy holding a bottled drink or something, I'm like, "Yeah, tackle me, motherfucker. Excalibur security, tackle me. Tackle me. You didn't pay for that vitamin water. You didn't pay for that. That would be my lucky day. You fucking tackle me and the London drugs. You think I didn't pay for this? I'll show you my damn receipt. I'll show you my damn receipt in a court of law in front of a certified officer of Her Majesty's Justice Service, okay?" Because he was moral, they called him insane. Delusions of grandeur, visions of splendor. This manic depressing, he walks in the rain. Eyes wide open. Get out of my head, Geddy Lee!